All right, so welcome everyone after the lunch break. I am Gábor Berend from the University of Szeged, and we were responsible for developing the AI tools. And yesterday we had an internal meeting, and at that point we had had a point when we were sharing tips for the future for each other. And I liked that format pretty much, so I am now following a similar format this time. But today for the broader audience. And so I gave the title Best Practices of Using AI Tools. Well, in general, and in particular regarding the tools that we were creating throughout the project. So basically, I only cover, or I only created a few slides, and the focus of that will be the one I was introducing earlier. And after that, I am planning to give a walkthrough through this is the kind of tools that we have created. So yeah, the first part, we'll be talking about general ideas about how to, what kind of relation is a good idea to have towards AI tools. Actually, it's a bit similar to what Dr. Farkas has said during the morning, but maybe it will provide some additional insights. And just in case someone didn't have the chance to attend that talk, I will give a very brief intro and ideas regarding these aspects. And then, as I said, there will be the kind of exact particular tools that we have created, and then a few conclusions and take-home messages will be presented. And after that, I am going to change my screen, hopefully without any technical issues. And then you will be allowed to ask anything, maybe something that have popped to your mind either this time or maybe from the morning when the tools were presented by Margarita and Christian. All right, so yeah, I have seen during the morning that giving images or pictures is a good idea. So in informing the way you or the relation, how people attach to AI tools and AI solutions, I think this can be a really nice and simple, motivating example. So just like we know that if we have various tasks like cutting out wood or eating a soup, and we have various tools like chainsaw and the spoon, it would be clear and trivial which tool to use for which task. So first of all, when you are using an AI tool in general, it's very important to be aware of the capabilities that these tools can offer to you. And well, you can save lots of frustration and bad experience if you are well prepared prior to using those tools. So yeah, like I said, no one would use a chainsaw, or I wouldn't recommend anyone eating a soup with a chainsaw. But on the other hand, there's another task which is somehow related to wood, and you might think that maybe you can do this kind of fine arts with a chainsaw, but well, you have to be really talented for that to achieve this. So yeah, something is suitable for a given task, but sometimes you might be developing bad intuitions and maybe figure out that you were reaching for an inappropriate tool. So yeah, having this in mind, now I would give some extra details about AI systems. Still, in general, this is something which I guess was partly covered by Richard during the morning talk, but still, I think it's worth to be repeated over and over. And yeah, also Christian has mentioned this kind of property of AI tools. So basically, if you have a repetitive tool that you want to that you do not want to perform repeatedly yourself or by your colleagues, then you can decide to build an automated tool which tries to decrease the human effort needed for performing that task. And ideally, you can decrease it to the extent that it becomes fully automated. But before doing that, there are lots of work to be done. So it doesn't come free, or you have to do prior work so that you can work less afterwards. And I will still give a few ideas about that. Somehow we sometimes we feel that these kind of tools come out of nowhere and without any human interaction, but this is a misconception, I would say, because this is only, well, it is not true in the first place, and we might feel like that because it is not us directly, the end users, who have to do extra work before an automated tool comes out. But in reality, the large tech companies put lots of effort into training these models. But when you do an AI or a data-related task yourself, then you cannot escape that part. So basically, teaching a model and providing examples for the given task to be automated. Just like Richard Farkas told it earlier, the machines do not have consciousness or common sense knowledge to the least extent. So basically, they are like like a parrot, which repeats what a human says, except for the fact that it can be related not to just saying out things, but basically any kind of human actions that humans are capable of. We can try to make the machines or computers try to imitate that actions. There is also this Gigo principle. So the quality, meaning that whenever garbage comes in, then garbage would go out. So you have to be really cautious and put lots of effort into carefully selecting and providing high quality training examples to the machines, no matter what problem actually you are solving. And there could be lots of challenges, like going to a new domain. So maybe if you were you have created an automated sentiment analysis tool which classifies product reviews into being either positive or negative towards a given product. And if you made a well-functioning version for kitchen appliances, you should be aware that the machine has only picked up the kind of patterns which are typical for that given domain. And if you decide to build a sentiment analysis tool for movie reviews, for instance, then your system might, and I would say that probably would, produce much less confident and less useful results for you. Okay, then talking about our particular tool that we have created in the project. So so far, these were my general tips when you face yourself in either the situation that you are about to launch a project that involves AI, or UI, or maybe you are at the end users who have the chance to use an AI tool. And after that, at that point, I would like to switch or be a bit more specific and talk about the particular tools that we have created in this project, and about which you have already had the chance to listen to hear about at the very end of the morning session. So just like I had this wood production example about the chainsaw, you should be aware when is it likely that the tools that we created fits your needs and your situation. So I assume that you have listened to the morning talk that introduced the various tools, and now at this time I'm going to talk about a few tips regarding the radar and the company database or the company search tool. But my presentation and demonstration will also cover the networking Tableau as well. But at this point, I'm not talking about that part of the tools that we have developed. So the database, as you could see it during the morning, provides you basically a search tool, and it is intended for those use cases that when you wish to move to a foreign market that you are totally unaware of. So this means that if you have already covered, if you already have a relatively good understanding of the potential customers and potential competitors, or I would say that the more aware you are about these competitors and potential partners and customers at a foreign market, the less useful the tools could be for you. But given a theoretic situation that you are in a cold start situation, so you are totally unaware and just want to have a rough idea, then it is definitely likely that you would be provided useful information and useful companies, but of course less useful as well. So it's at the end of the day your task to select which companies to further investigate and keep in your radar, and which one to forget about. Of course, if the more you use these tools, the more accustomed you can become, which search queries and which keywords work better and which one do not, or which one work less. So going back to this chainsaw example, it's not really a tool for very deliberate and very highly specific searches. And this is partly because of this other thing that I have mentioned, is that the model has these AI models are only capable of imitating those kind of knowledge that they have seen during training. And for instance, if you have a really specific and a highly specific need, like a subsector, then you should be aware that our training data was only such that it was including the coarse high-level sector of the companies, like automotive or something like that. But because we were not having access to a very fine, detailed taxonomy or classification of the companies, we are not, the tool itself is not able to do this kind of very fine grained distinctions. But at a high level, you would be provided by companies if you provide a few search queries or key terms that have a connection to the provided keywords. So yeah, like a search engine, it's a bit, it works similar to a search engine. And the service analyzer is the other tool that I would like to give you or provide you some extra details and extra information. So when you see the results, the kind of results that I will also show you, and the kind of results that was present in the morning presentation, you could see those bar charts indicating the likelihood or the confidence of the of the AI, whether a particular kind of service is offered by a given company. But you should be aware that this hypothesis is purely set up by the contents of the website. So, for instance, if a company offers research and development services, but fails to give a prominent mention of it on the website, then it is not going to be found by the tool. So of course it's not a silver bullet, and it's not like a crystal ball which knows everything. It knows what it can have access to, and in our case, these are the company websites. Yeah, so there could be the reality that a company offers a certain kind of service, and what is pronounced or included on their websites might be disattached, and it's not necessarily a problem, you know, on with the tool, but it could be an indication that the company website might be improved by giving more details about services that they know they offer in reality, but this automated tool was not able to identify. So basically, like I said, the machine tries to imitate a human, and you should imagine that what this tool does is that what you would do if you were said a totally unknown company and given the instruction that you should do a research regarding the kind of services that are offered by that company, and you were given no other clues than, or you were not allowed to use anything but contacting the website of that given company. There were also situations when actually there was a problem with the website of a company, and the tool said that this company has no services to offer, and yeah, the reason could be sometimes on these kind of things can happen because of reasons that we cannot control. So it was mentioned, but I think it's worth emphasize that these decisions are purely based on the contents that are included on the website. So giving you a few take-home messages after this short talk, and prior to have a look at the tools that we developed in action. I would like these three main bullet points to be emphasized once more. So it's very important that we know that these AI systems cannot come into existence by themselves. It would be nice, but it's simply not how it goes. So we have to do probably lots of work and lots of extra work before we could enjoy the benefits of AI models. And again, the quality. So the AI tools are there to support you and not to replace you or us or any of us. So basically, this was I think one of the main bullet points and the main conclusion of Richard Farkas. So my conclusion is that one as well, that we shouldn't expect the AI tools to make us restless. It will most likely provide us different tasks and different works to do, and hopefully those are more inspiring and more joyful tasks. So if everything goes right or goes well with an AI project, then at the end of the day, you will be enjoying those benefits that the AI will be able to do various or a particular task that you have trained it for, And typically, those are boring and repetitive tasks that you manage to get partially replaced by those tools and the AI models. But for this to happen, I mean, to finish a project successfully, you need to take care of lots of things like the quality of the training data and the amount of training data that you provide to the machine. So yeah, that was basically what I wanted to share with you, and now I'm going to continue with the hands-on session. So I would like to encourage everyone to ask questions. I guess probably on the chat. This is how it was during the morning, and now I hope that I will be able to change my screen. Okay, and it is working. So in the upcoming minutes, I am now going to give you a walkthrough for 3 out of these 5 tools. So the radar, the networking tableau, and this database finally. Okay, so if you are a first-time user, then you would be required to. Sorry. You would be required to register for using these tools, but like Christian said it multiple times, these tools are free for use. All you need to provide is a username or an email address, and then a password of your choice. Okay, I'm not showing you this part, but this is the standard way of procedure. This is a standard registration phase. And after you have your own account, you can go to the radar. I think I will go sequentially, starting with the radar, then the networking tableau, and finally the. No, actually, I would. Sorry for changing my mind in the very end. I would start out with the database, and then the radar, and then the networking tableau. Okay, so I said that the database, so this search function is can be useful if you are unaware for a given market or a given the market of a given region. So I can. So I'm not a marketing person, and I think I qualify to this setting or use case when I'm totally unaware with a given market. So for instance, let's assume that I am an employee of a company who wants to get in touch or probably sell its services or products for other internet or foreign countries, which are related to tires, so automotives and tires. Maybe you can enter as many search expressions as you wish. So I just wrote tires, automotive, and I provide the language of my search terms, search queries. There would be an alternative search function when you would have the chance to enter the URL of a company that you are already aware of, and that you would like to find similar companies too. But I'm only showing you this more traditional way of searching when you do this with keywords. So, for instance, I'm interested in Germany, in companies for which these keywords are relevant, and which companies have interests in either Hungary or Germany. So for instance, I might be a company from the Czech Republic, an employee of a company from the Czech Republic, and I am thinking about moving or making new connections into these two regions, in these two areas. Then I do the submit, and then I hit the submit button. So I am now provided by my results. And here we are. So that's pretty, so we have these widgets or these cards, which tells us those companies for which this search engine that we assembled thinks that there is might be of interest for you. And yeah, it seems pretty okay for me, at least, with a disclaimer that I'm not a marketing person and someone who doesn't really want to sell tires, or so maybe I'm not the best person to judge the quality of these results, but I'm certainly aware that Continental sells or has something to do with tires, and Hankook Tire is also a company, even indicated by its URL that is related to, well, automotive in the first place, but on a more fine level to the tire business. And Michelin is yet another one. And like I said, the attachment could be a bit loose sometimes. So maybe it's entirely possible that you would get I don't know, like something like a car mechanic, but hopefully this will be ranked lower. I mean, it's a bad result from some perspective, but in some other perspective, it's still related to tires, because this is part of the jobs that mechanics do. Of course, we try to prioritize larger companies, which are likely to be more relevant in our idea for advanced manufacturers. But sometimes this information was missing, or sometimes it was inaccurate, and this could result in not the best results. But this time we have Continental Corporation, Hankook Tire, and Michelin, which I think could be a good start for making your next step. So of course, if you think you want to know more details about a company, maybe you don't know what Micro Epsilon is doing, and you want to decide if it's indeed a relevant company for you or not, then you can do this extra work. And here comes the thing that I have already said. So it's the AI is not going anything instead of you, it supports you. And in certain cases, or I would say in most cases, the AI just helps you in recommending the first steps, and the rest could be still performed. The rest of the steps could be still performed by humans. You can provide feedbacks, which can help us later to improve the quality. So then this information gets stored, and maybe next time, so this information, whether you like a certain search result or not, this could be potentially employed for improving the search quality later on. Okay, so let's suppose you have maybe either using this database tool or by independent market research. Let's assume that you have figured out a few companies that you would like to investigate further. So it is probably the time to start using the radar, which will give you this service analysis. Okay, so let's assume that I have this Hankook Tire as one of the companies that I would like to investigate. And the Continental is the other one. So the way we designed this site is that in the upper part, you enter maybe the URL of your company. So the company that you would like to compare with other companies. And I just enter a company that we have that I have tried the tool earlier, which is, by the way, not really related to the tire business, but still it will be good for illustrative purposes, I guess. So this progress bar indicates you the progress of the analysis. So yeah, basically now instead of you actually visiting these URLs, the machine is reaching out these URLs and visits these 200 approximately 200 websites per company URL, and then tries to make an educated guess, which would hopefully resemble the kind of result that a human would do, or that the kind of conclusions that the human would come to after visiting these free URLs. So it's not lightning fast, but if you compare this time to the amount of time that you would actually spend on getting familiar with a previously totally unknown company for you, then probably the savings are clearly worth using it. So as an additional information, or as a background information, when we were collecting these training samples per URL, so when those people who were training the machine, they were looking for clues about the kind of services that could be found at a given URL. On average, the time spent for this kind of investigation was like 10 to 15 minutes. So assuming that the people who did it for us were not extremely slower than a regular person would be, then you would spend approximately at least half an hour for coming to a similar conclusion that our automated tool tries to imitate. And here you are. So the bar charts indicate the kind of probabilities or confidence that this automated tool assigns to the fact that your company, which we treat as the company that you provided first. So this is the probability that Hankook Tire has a service of warranty. And for the rest of the companies, we take the average. So for Androids.com and Continental, this confidence is below 40. I'm going to make so this is not probably, it's not very, so I'm going to make an analogy which is not 100% correct, but you can somehow think of it like if you were asking people to look for services on your company, which is Hankook Tire, which was Hankook Tire in this example, then it's very likely, or nearly all the subjects that you were asking for would find that you indeed have a warranty provided, a warranty service provided. Whereas for this other companies, the other companies that you would like to compare yourself to, this fraction would be, or this proportion would be around 40% of the people. You can see the average of these alternative companies, but you can also see them individually. So this 40% average was, for instance, the average of a nearly 60% score for Andritz and less than 20% score for Continental. Actually, 16.98. You can do various ordering of the data. So you can see, for instance, the largest gap. So the alternative companies that you provided seem to be very nicely promoting that they are offering retrofit, modernization and upgrade services, whereas your company, the Hankook Tire, is not. Okay, and then it's not something the AI. So then it's up to you or up to the domain experts and the marketing guys to decide what to do with this information. So they have to ask themselves, is it really the case that we don't offer this kind of services, or is it only the case that we just don't promote it in a transparent enough way on our website? And if it's the second case, then it's easy to fix because you need to improve the website. If you indeed do not have this kind of services, then it's the leadership should make the decision whether they want to improve or extend their services into this direction. Okay, and I think I can go on to the final tool, the networking tableau. So here you can provide a company website. Again, some companies that you just figured out the existence of, or maybe that you would like to be more familiar its connectedness to other companies. Yeah, it can be a bit crowded sometimes, but we try to reach a nice middle ground or a golden path between providing some useful information and still being digestible, the amount of information that are included in these networks. So this network is always going to be centered around the kind of company that you were searching for. In this case, it was hancocktire.com, and so maybe I just got aware of this competitor of mine, and I would like to figure out which other companies is this company related to. But of course, this relation could be, again, of various types. And like we said that these, until the machines are programmed so that they have a very deep domain knowledge, they aren't able to distinguish between different kinds of connections. And in our case, we didn't have this deep knowledge or deep information during the training. So what we decided is that we decided to show what we have access to, and these are the relations, relatedness of companies, which are based on the company websites again. And there we made 4 different kinds of relations within this network. The one of them is the mutual relation. It is probably the strongest one. You can select those kind of relations, and then they are going to be highlighted. So those links or those connections are marked by the blue color, for which the company website that you were looking for is also making reference to another company, and this other company has a reference to the company that you were initially looking for. So yeah, this is what we call mutual relatedness, and probably the strongest level of relatedness, because it means that both companies find it meaningful to announce or mention that other company. it could, well, again, the reasons could be multiple. Maybe it's just a subsidiary of the company that you were looking for, or maybe it's a very strong partner. Maybe they mutually depend from each other. And then this could help the market researchers in our mind to expand, again, to have another tool for getting familiar with further companies that they might not have the chance to hear about by using alternative tools. The mutual relations was the first, and as I said, the strongest kind of connection. Then the referencing means that there is a unidirection, so there's a hyperlink in just one direction. So maybe those companies that are at the end of these orange arrows, they are distributors, but it's also possible that they are some companies that they have a previous contract with, etc., etc. Again, it's something that the human would have to figure out, but we just give a first hint that if you want to understand the connectedness of the company with the URL hancocktire.com, that then maybe you are also interested, or maybe you should also know these other companies as well. And then you can do the job of figuring out the exact kinds of relatedness between these two companies. So the other direction is pretty straightforward, as I guess. So the referencing was that Hancock Tire was making a reference to these other URLs, and this time the referenced by means that these companies have a link pointing towards the Hancock Tire company website. And the other companies, which might be perhaps interesting, are the kind of links that we are aware of and which do not involve the company that you were searching for, the Hancock Tire in this case, but the connected between those companies that are connected to Hancock Tire in one way or another. And yeah, you can just highlight multiple types of links. And one extra function that you can achieve, of course, if you want to know more about the company that you might not have heard about earlier. For instance, I have never heard of this matic.at company. By right-clicking on it, I have the chance to open it. And okay. So I'm not familiar with the tire business, and I do not speak German either, but I see a tire, so I think it's somehow related. And there is a bit of English, so truck and trailer parts, which means that indeed this company has at least a loose connection to the Hancock Tire company. And again, it's up to the human experts, domain experts, and marketing experts to decide to further go on and maybe get in touch with this company, or just hit the close button, as I would do now. And then there is this other option that if you would like to, in some sense, walk through this network, then you can invoke a new search with by again right-clicking on a URL that you can see on the screen, and go for this other option of search with link. So actually, this is equivalent as if I was typing in matic.at into the tool and hitting the search button, but it provides you a more interactive way of exploring this network of businesses. Then you can see the neighborhood of the matic.ak, and yeah, at some point you would find the Continental, or sorry, the Hancock Tire company as well, because this is where we came from. But actually, there's a slight chance that you would not find. I just want to mention it, that there is a slight chance that you will not find a company where you were proceeding from. And this is the reason. So this is rooted in the fact that, as I said, we want to make this this network easy to interpret, or not to be crowded with too many information. So it's actually a sample of the most promising links that can be that are connected to a company website. And yeah, as you can proceed your work, or your this getting familiar with this subnetwork of the internet. Maybe you decide to become more familiar with this presslight.com company, and here you again have a progress bar, which when reaches the 100%, it means that yeah, you can see all the results that we can provide you at the moment. Okay, so I think that was it regarding the demonstration of the functionalities. I hope I managed to give you some further insights, and then I would answer the questions if you have any. And I can see the chat that there is one. The network shows the most important relations. How is most important defined or measured? Actually, so there is we try to consider the larger neighborhood of a tiny proportion of the entire web, and those regions where the links get more dense, they tend to be more coherent, in a way that if you choose from that part, then you are more likely to find something more interesting. So it's based on some probabilistic, so it's an educated guess. So if you have like 200 neighbors, we probabilistically choose the top 25, I guess, and we try to give a probability estimation of usefulness for each of the companies selected, and then the selection goes along these predefined probabilities. I hope it answered your question. Okay, you're welcome. And if everyone has any further questions, then just don't feel shy to ask it. No, actually, there seems to be. Okay, I might not see all the questions. Let me, because on the screen I can see there are 9 questions, but here. Yeah. So the centrality would be one way to one alternative way to do this kind of ranking or selection procedure. So unfortunately, I cannot see the questions in the chat. If there are any, I mean, on the large screen there seems to be 9, saying 9, but mine computer only shows this one. Okay. So those questions are not relevant, which means that, yeah, I have nothing to answer at the moment.
So if there are any questions, now we can close the conference, and thank you for attendance, and visit our website. Thank you and goodbye.